What's going on, all you action movie enthusiasts? Your two favorite wild assassins are back tonight, and we're talking about the brand new film that's still in theaters. It's been playing there for quite a while, enjoying a nice long run in the theaters. Me and Logan here had the pleasure of watching this past week, and we're here to talk about it with you guys tonight. We're talking about Brad Pitt in Bullet Train.
Shit deal.
I should have worn my bucket hat.
You should.
And Uncle Brad still has a great head of hair all these years later. This guy gets better with age, but aging like a fine wine, isn't he? But the setup of the movie is pretty interesting. I didn't really know too much about this, but it's based off a 2010 novel, essentially of this contracted operative doing shady missions, and he's on the phone. He basically has to go on a bullet train to retrieve the suitcase, and it really sets up the rest of the story and all the quirky and unusual characters behind me that show up on the train along the way, having to do with this mission and bad guys and trying to get this suitcase. But the overall setup of this movie right from the get-go is absolutely beautiful, very vibrant, as you would expect, like Japan, all the vibrant neon lights and things like that. Music's really fantastic. It really sets up a very cool John Wick meets a Quentin Tarantino flick in terms of like mystery, who done it, and then also action and a lot of great kill scenes.
I love the style on this movie right away. It you can feel the pulse on this movie. It feels alive and vibrant. The characters are fast talking. There's a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of cut scenes. It's a lot of characters to follow. But David Leitch, the director of John Wick fame, obviously working on those films, coming over here to direct this one. Right off the bat, you're brought into this world, and like you mentioned, seeing Tokyo and seeing all these awesome characters who get with awesome names each. Brad Pitt, Ladybug. We get Joey King as Prince, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Tangerine, his bruv Brian Tyree Henry as Lemon. Both of them, I love their characters.
They're my favorite for sure.
Yes, their dynamic really reminded me of a Guy Ritchie movie. The way that they were fast talking and the way they work together. Like you mentioned, being a Quentin Tarantino meets John Wick meets Guy Ritchie. This film's like full of life. The story zips along. You never know where that briefcase is going to end up. You have all these characters entering the story, every 5 minutes. So it never feels stale, even though there's a lot of action. There's always something new and somebody new that comes along. And another thing that we can mention about this movie right off the bat is with this stacked cast here, you're not even seeing everybody in the film. There's tons of cameos galore from some major stars who we're not going to spoil, but you guys will definitely, that was definitely a treat to, be watching it and see these big stars pop up along the way. Just a really fun film. We've all seen the assassin film. We've even seen, movies taking place on trains, the Murder on the Orient Express and things like that, which I've never seen, but I can only imagine Bullet Train. There's no way those films are as good as Bullet Train. It's just, all this action, all this awesome dialogue, all these awesome characters thrown in, and they're trying to, retrieve this briefcase. And there's a lot of mystery and suspense. And along the way, I just had a blast with this movie.
Yeah, you're telling me how great it was, and all the Cinephellas boys were talking about it. It's honestly a movie, I wish I would have saw it sooner because I had a blast with it. I watched it last night. I was glued to the screen. I was involved with these characters. I love Tangerine and Lemon, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry behind me. They were just like Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, but more quick-witted and fast and quicker with their guns. But they really, started off the movie great. Next to Brad Pitt being kind of a hokey, middle-aged guy, just kind of mumbling, talking on the phone, but he can do some damage. And, him trying to pick up this briefcase and wrong place at the wrong time, and involving all these other side stories and characters that show up much like a Guy Ritchie movie. It was really interesting. It all kind of tied in really nice. And especially after the end of the movie and the after credits, it all kind of ties in with one of the characters, but it was really well done. I was really surprised. This is definitely a movie I would rewatch. I had a blast with this. I love the soundtrack, everything about it. The whole atmosphere was great. All the surprise cameos that show up, a lot of Hollywood A-listers towards the end that you wouldn't, expect, but they show up. It really feels unique and it's fun at the same time. They had fun. They shoot up the scenery. They shoot up the dialogue. This is a lot of great, memorable scenes and cast here. And a movie, maybe if they did a sequel, I'd be on board for it. The most surprising movie of the year for me that I thought, saw the trailer, looked okay, but I had a great time with it, and a movie I highly recommend. So that being said, I'm going to give Bullet Train, currently playing in theaters, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Oh, Brad Pitt hair pieces.
Just a fun movie. One of my favorite, biggest surprises of the year, really. I didn't expect too much from this. Bullet Train, it sounds kind of hokey. I didn't really pay attention to any of the trailers. I don't know why. After watching, I was like, damn, this was an awesome movie led by the one, the only Brad Pitt there. We've seen him, lately just knocking it out of the park. Like you mentioned, he seems to get better as he's aging. He's having a lot of fun on screen. And, that fun really, translates to the screen. Just a really fast paced movie, being on the bullet train, of course, with all these wild characters. I won't mention who he plays, but we see old Michael Shannon come by. That was a treat to see him show up there in the movie as well. But yeah, had a blast with this movie. Everything about it, the music, the score, the cinematography, the fast pace, the dialogue, most of all the actors, they really knocked it out of the park in casting this movie. Loved it all. It felt like a mix of all, the best of the, action movies mixed in with some Quentin Tarantino and Guy Ritchie dialogue. Just smart movie, knows it's having fun, not trying to take itself too seriously, but written really well. And like you mentioned, the story really comes together in the end, especially with all these moving parts. It does a great job of focusing in and really, nailing home the story by the end of the film. So with that being said, I am going to give David Leitch's Bullet Train a 4 out of 5 Brad Pitt hair pieces.
We're interested in hearing from you guys. Per usual, what did you like about Bullet Train? What didn't you like about it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to click subscribe. Also, check out these Wild Assassins on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV movie news and reviews.
So what did you guys think of Bullet Train? Have you guys made it to the theater yet? Both of us really highly recommend this film. See it on the big screen. It's worth it. It's really a great time. I definitely think this movie has a lot of rewatchability too. There's a lot of things that I missed in it. So I am definitely going to be buying this on 4K, and I am hoping that they make a sequel. Definitely deserves a sequel. And with the amount of money it's made at the box office, I have a feeling that we're going to get that in a few years. So I'm all for that, and can't wait to see the cast that they get together for that one. So thank you guys for tuning in to our review of Bullet Train, one of our, biggest surprises of the year. And we really had a great time with it. And we have a feeling that it'll make our, best of list by the time the year's over. Really fun time, a great summer blockbuster, one of the last ones that we're getting as we're approaching fall, and just a great time. So thank you guys for tuning in. Until the next Cinephellas movie review, I'm Uncle Henry.
And I'm Logan Pitt, signing out until the next review.
Cheese.